Dr. Werner again for a second podcast here because we had so much fun talking about joy. And I really want you to go back and listen to that podcast if you haven't heard it yet, because it really is a good mindset and above and beyond what you hear. You know, you guys can get on YouTube and hear a positive mindset and all that, but there's a base underline that goes with it, a foundation to that understanding. And we talked about it in the last podcast. But I kept him here. And luckily for me, he's excited to stay and enjoy him. And we want to talk about another thing here, but I do want to share a little bit more on your background. You also have your own podcast.
Yes.
What is the name of your podcast?
Independent Insights.
Okay.
So we talk about focus on optometry practices and what challenges that we have and little snippets on how to overcome those.
I love it. So we're going to put his link to his podcast in the bio down at the bottom there. You guys can click on that. Another different place to find you for more information, regardless of the industry. You guys are going to find nits and facts on that one. So
absolutely,
definitely want to share on that. So this podcast, I've thought about it on and off since I started doing the podcast. And I didn't really have a good foundation to go through it. And now I'm living it firsthand. So I'm living it firsthand right now. I am stepping back away from my sign company and I'm letting our sales manager, Jeannie Jackson, take it over. And she's going to now run integrated signs. And I'm stepping away from that. And I'm having a real problem letting go. Mm-hmm. And I don't think I'm by myself.
No.
I really think that this is a topic or a conversation that people tend to stay, I guess, in their comfort zone because they know it so well, or they're a little OCD, one of the two different reasons. And they go, I want it this way, a certain way. It's the only way that's going to be the right way. And they grasp onto that thought process they had forever. And they don't know how to let go.
No. Well, change is scary.
Change is scary.
Yeah.
For some people.
For some people.
You know, I think you and I, for what we've been talking about, have learned to live in the change world.
Yes.
We've learned to accept change. And if I got up and I put my shoes on first, maybe I get up and put my socks on and walk around the house and then put my shoes on. Whatever the little difference is there, we're going to try something different. Did this make me more efficient? Did this make it better? Did I find more joy in my day-to-day grind as I did it this way? But having that change is good for people that have the right mindset have gotten there.
Yeah.
But that's top of the mountain stuff. That is very top of the mountain. And for the baseline of the mountain, having to let go and realize that the person you're going to give the responsibility to will not do it better than you on day one.
Yeah.
But they might do it very, very much better than you in a short amount of time that you would never think happened.
Yeah. Well, they might do it better than you day one.
Maybe.
So think we both have kids.
Yep.
Right. By my third one, this was old hat, but on the first one, right, even leaving them with my mom,
mm-hmm.
right, there was 2 pages of instructions on. Are you kidding? Like, my mom raised 4 kids and did a damn good job doing it.
Yep.
And this is my first one. I've had all of 3 weeks, months worth of experience, and I'm going to leave a to-do list for an expert.
Yep.
I guaranteed she did a better job that day than I did.
How did she handle that when you handed her those 2 pages?
Oh, she just laughed because she knows I was an idiot, and she probably remembered when she did that to her mom. And it's that cycle.
So she had some beautiful grace, and she says, "No problem, man. I'll take care of it. Thank you very much."
Oh yeah, and my dad just shook his head, and the way dads do, and just, get out of here.
Oh, I remember when Zoe was born, and she had been, alive and or whatever term you want to call for the first 4 hours, or popped out of the womb for the first 4 hours. And nurse says, "Oh, you can go and change the diaper." And I went, "Yeah, you got some instructions on this?" And she just like me, she goes, "It's fine, you'll be fine." And I'm like, I was so scared changing a diaper. And within 2 months in, I could do it one-handed while watching the game and could care less.
Uh-huh.
But that first time was scary and all get out.
Oh yeah.
So, I do remember that.
Yeah. In a business, it's just as scary because this is your baby.
It's your baby. It's your money tree.
Yeah. So it's your baby that pays your bills. I don't have one of those yet.
Yeah.
I'm paying their bills still.
Yeah. Right. It literally is. It is your income. It's your growth. Somehow it's your presence. It's who you are as a person. Like somehow you've crossed the line and your company is now a part of you.
Yeah.
Which is kind of a scary place to be. It shouldn't be that way, but we all slip into that fall.
Yeah.
We slip into that little trench there. To say, okay, you were going to do this and I'm going to just trust you. It's a fear that I see a lot of people can't make that jump.
No. Let's break down the fear, because I think that part of it, and it's just, it popped in my head right now, because it's who you are. You made the comment that your business is who you are. We put out a front, right? So everybody sees us a certain way. But now when somebody's going to run it and take over a significant portion of managing, they get to see you naked.
Oh, yeah.
Right? They get to see the parts of you that you kept hidden
Yes.
from everybody else. That's scary.
That's true, because you might be very secure and very confident in that line of work or that area of what you're doing. And now you have to go learn something new, which you've preached to everybody, but you actually got to do it yourself. You got to walk the walk.
Oh yeah. I mean, somebody starts looking at numbers and books and financials, and I mean, there's nothing malicious about it, but just, was I doing it right?
Yes.
Was it, and unless you're a pro athlete, when everybody can see you and see your stats and they put it up on a giant Jumbotron, which I think is why they have to pay them millions, because you can put all my errors up on a giant Jumbotron.
Yeah.
Have me be okay with it.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. The confidence level just
A little bit, right?
down.
I think that's part of it, is the less that, there's certainly that you're not going to do it my way, but it's also, you're going to see all my mistakes. You're going to see everything that wasn't just right, the troll under the bridge in fairy ponytail land.
It's kind of funny, because I'm looking at it from only one side of viewpoint as an owner, but I actually like when my employees go on vacation. When they go on a 2-week vacation, I get to go dig through their underwear drawer and see how well they're doing. And I literally get to go, oh, you did a great job. You guys are an all-star, and you come back, I'm going to tell you did an all-star. And if I come back and through and see that there's, you hit all these problems there, and now that you're gone, I got to deal with them. Now we're going to have a conversation on why didn't you attack these? And I love to see how well they're doing, where they're at in life. Yeah. So when they go on vacation for 2 weeks, I get to go digging through what's going on. I learned that. You just said the exact opposite side of the coin of your roles and responsibilities are now gone, and now somebody else is looking at them.
Yeah.
It actually is funny. So I'm going through mentorship right now, and this guy is very well versed in marketing genius. I will give him that credit all day long. And I gave him my financial, said, this is where we're at. Here's the changes and whatnot. And you watch him just stare at it. And I started to get a little bit of a sweats going on. And I'm like, I'm a freaking accountant. Like, I know my numbers are solid. I know exactly around. But the fact that somebody was staring at it over my shoulder, I was like, whoa, wait. Yeah. And it's kind of funny. I remember feeling that, and I started laughing at myself going, really? You're getting the sweats over this? Like, really? And I had to stop myself and redirect and allow it was good, but it's true.
Yeah. So I think there's a little bit of, that's part of the concern. And then there's the well, what am I going to do? If I lose this responsibility, what's next? What's then for me? Especially if you don't have that there's not a lot that I'm scared of in life. Rattlesnakes, all snakes. In retirement, I don't know what I would do.
Yeah,
Nowhere close to that.
Anything that has to do with the snake, I call that a nope rope. I'm not doing it.
Nope.
Get it away. Get it away.
Cool. Yes. Very similar. But not having something to do. Retirement, it sounds horrible.
Oh, I never retire.
Oh.
There's no way. I'll find something to do. Trust me, I now understand when the guys in their late 80s are driving around golf carts being the ambassador at a golf course.
Oh, yeah.
100%. That's my job. I got that all day long. Yeah, walk up. You guys are behind pace. We don't care. Yeah, cool. Neither do I. Bye-bye. I'm out there doing something.
Exactly. I have to be productive.
No, it's true. And it's so funny, because when we were younger, you had to pick a career. That's what was pushed on some of us. We had a career. Once you pick it, that was it. That's your 50, 60-year marker. That's your career. And then as we got older, or the different eras, society changed a little bit. It was okay to have a job for 5-10 years and then go find a different job. Yeah. The word career is very rare. Now, historically, you make a lot more money having a career and advancing than you go job hopping. If you really want to make good wealth, you're gonna grow and scale your own company, and you're gonna have a career inside your own company. But you can have changes to your own company, and you might even be able to sell a company and move on, which I think is sell a company or hand down a company to the next generation. Right. I know you said you were fifth generation.
Yep.
And you took over Pops's practice.
Yep.
How did that hand down of the company go from dad to you? Was it smooth? Was it rough?
It was smooth. And I think it was smooth more to his credit than mine.
Okay.
And I say that because I was still young, arrogant, and say dumb.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think he saw the potential and understood that he had to let me make some of my own mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
So he guided me where appropriate, let me make some of my own mistakes, and was very clear about what his expectations were. I was clear about my expectations, which I also think helped the process.
Yeah,
because there was no guessing and assuming.
mm-hmm.
And we had worked together for so long that we understood each other. But I've seen it work both ways, where it works really well or where it becomes confrontational, and that's usually when there wasn't expectations or there was misplaced expectations.
That's a really good point. I mean, the communication's key to everything in life, and the more you open up and you just kind of talk and say where it's at. For my dad and I, it was always funny. Dad, for some odd reason, always had this statement in his head, and even when I was in my 20s, he goes, "If you stick at the sign company, you'll probably be president between 35 and 40." And I was like, "It's going to take me 15 years to learn this? I don't think so. I'll be fine at 30. Let me go." And I was very aggressive and headstrong. Let's get more market share. Let's get more market share. And by 30, I'm like, I can do this. And he's like, calm down, calm down, calm down. By the time that I was turned 37 and he actually gave me the title, I'm not going to lie, I had lost some of my bite. And I wasn't as aggressive as I wish. And I really wish that I could have been president at 30 and had him been behind me saying, whoa, kind of left go here. But for the most part, let me off the leash and run. The sign company would have been probably another 40% larger than what it is today. And I watch these generations go back and forth on this, and I see kids that are young, aggressive, they want to make a mark in the world of who they are, and where you kind of can say, hey, I'm going to give you the reins, and I'll be here to clean up the messes for what you're going to have, because you're going to screw up. I mean, We're human. But it's kind of funny when you see the generational things. I watched the old regime stay in the driver's seat too long.
Yes.
And they become a dinosaur themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And at one point in time, it's so apparent in their face, they go, oh, crap, I got to leave. But if they had moved out of the road, I'm going to make a number up, 5 years earlier, the company would have done so much better. They would have been happier, lined their pockets a lot better, instead of basically kind of going against the grain.
Yep. And at the same token, the young docs, I had a young doc call me and said, hey, I've been in this practice for 3 years now. When am I going to get an opportunity to buy in? And I said, well, have you asked? And he said, well, no, he should just know. So for fun, I said, give me a minute. I called the owner doc, because he's a friend of mine, and said, hey, what are your thoughts on retiring? He's like, well, I got this kid who's been there for 3 years, and I just, he's really good. I'm hoping he buys in, but he hasn't said anything yet. I said, so you guys both want the same thing, you just haven't talked about it? I'm going to be a hero.
Yeah, right?
So I think that we get comfortable in our station, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's not letting go, and we want, in theory, we want to that we don't want to become a dinosaur. We want to sell, but we don't know how to approach that or plan it. And the young group coming up, either wants to get in the driver's seat too fast and not learn through the school of hard knocks and work their way up, or they expect to be recognized and approached to. And I think just simple conversations can help that planning. But going back to you and your dad, if you hadn't had those opportunities though, and kind of been delayed, do you think you'd be doing the other stuff you're doing right now?
Don't know. That's a great question. It really is. It's a good question. I don't know how much. So the software company that I built, SquareCoil, I built it because we needed to be more efficient in the ways that we're doing things. We were in Excel, and the iPhone came out and you had a computer in your hand.
Yeah.
And yet we're working in Excel. I was like, this is wrong. This is so wrong. And so I built it just for us originally. And then of course went to market later on when I realized what I had done.
Right.
I don't know if I would have started earlier because we needed something faster, or I would have just bought somebody else's product to keep moving. Yeah, I really don't know where the end journey would have been if I had been given the rope too early. I know I would have hung myself a couple times. I know that.
Yes.
I know for a fact I would have stuck my foot in my mouth at some point in time and had to backtrack royally.
Yeah.
And it would have, costed me in HR problems, or would have costed me financially for a sign been wrong or whatnot.
Yeah.
I definitely know I was young on that one, but the eagerness to learn was greater, I guess. I know at some point in time as we get older, learning new things and growing in growth, it's harder to do.
Yes.
At 20, well, actually I take that back. If I was 16, you just gone, And blown, I mean, I would have changed my direction. There was no foundation, no structure whatsoever. And in your 20s, you got some.
Yep.
And then in your 30s, you either get charred, I guess would be the best way to say it, just destroyed by life, and now you're just stuck there and you're stagnant. Or you actually go, oh, I must reinvent myself every single time. This is the wins.
Yeah. That's when you realize who's driving the ship.
Yeah.
That it's you.
Yeah. No, it really is. You really, the man in the mirror, that's the conversation you got to have every day.
Yes. One of my favorite songs, by the way, too. Michael Jackson.
It is a good song.
Yeah.
It's a really good song.
It's a humbling song.
It is, yeah. If you really listen to the words, you're like, oh, I'm going to sit here and think about this for a second.
So you're letting go.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to let you off the hook on this. So you're letting go.
Yep.
And you've got, I forget, what was her name?
Jeannie.
Yep. Jeannie taking over. And I'm fully capable, I'm sure. And I'm sure she's excited.
Mm-hmm.
A little bit scared, excited.
Yep.
Right?
Totally.
Little opportunity for her.
Yes.
What self-talk are you, like, what's your pep talk in the mirror to you to be okay with her taking over?
It is one word: trust. It is 100% one word: trust. I trust that she has paid attention enough. I trust that she's learned what places to step and not step, and made her own path based on the knowledge of where her and I have been through it. Because I don't think everyone needs to step exactly where I step. A big snowstorm, step in Dad's footprints and keep walking. I don't want that.
Yeah.
Because if she tries to be me, she's going to fail.
Yep.
There's only one me. There's only one her.
Yep.
But hopefully she's paid attention to not walk underneath the trees in the snowstorm while she's walking, and the fact she's going to make her own path. I am bummed I don't get to drive anymore. I will honestly admit that.
Yeah.
I'm bummed that I don't say, hey, go after this client. No, stay away from that client. She's going to make those decisions. Mm-hmm. That's fun for me. I really enjoy having a big client and going and killing and making that. Yeah. My joys, like if somebody, I always hear they go, okay, you got to go public speak in front of a stadium. Most of the planet would just shrivel up. Oh, I'm pumped. I'm so pumped. I'm so excited. Like, bring it on. I get to talk to this many people at once.
Uh-huh.
And so that kill, that go sell and that go chase, yeah, I'm going to miss that. I really am. But I know this new path of the software, I'm going to actually change way more people's lives and make a lot more owners efficient and more profitable this way than I would ever fixing a sign and making somebody better. So I'm going to be able to affect more change and bring, I'm going to say happiness because I'm affecting them.
Yep.
So there's more happiness to them, but I'm going to be able to touch more people's lives going the direction I'm going than I was the other way. So I'm at peace.
Good.
Maybe most of the time. Somewhat. It's not 100%. I got to be honest here. It's not 100%, but I am happier in the direction that I'm going. I guess there's a little bit of look back.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, hindsight's 2020.
Yeah.
And I can say that because that's what I do for work. 2020, right? Sorry, bad pun. Yeah. Talmadge's version of a dad joke. No, I'm a little bit ahead of you and what I do and now with Vision Source, being out of the practice so much. And so it just so happened that our office manager, Kathy's fantastic, and we are very different people. I'm not sure if you're familiar with DISC and personality profiles, but we're the exact opposite.
Okay, gotcha.
Of each other, which at first was horrible because we disagreed on everything, and I've come to learn that's now a huge benefit because she brings perspective that I don't.
Yeah.
And then I've got a business partner in Dr. Brittany that sees things again in her own perspective a little bit differently too. And then I have a fantastic leadership team of people that I think I developed but never allowed to really spread their wings. And so long story short, when I go back and look at the numbers, the less I was out of practice, because I was 5 days a week, then I slowly cut down to 4, 3, 2, and now 1, as I had more responsibilities elsewhere, we grew inversely with how much I was there. So the less I was there, the more the practice grew and the more the business grew. And
that's not what I want to hear. You're telling me I need to run for that front door right now.
You know what? It was a hard pill to swallow.
Okay.
Because I lost my self-worth, my self-value.
Okay.
I thought I was down there bringing in the revenue.
Mm-hmm.
And I still go and when I see patients, I it may not be the top all the time, but I'm near the top of
Sure.
production. But when I'm there, I don't think everybody gets to fully expand, fully spread their wings like they are when I'm not there. And so some of the directions they've gone in, some of the decisions they've made, some of the ideas that have come up would never have happened if they had me just continually sitting on top of them and running it. I don't know if it's because I was the owner. I don't know if it's my personality, which is very straight and kind of in your face.
Yeah.
Or whatever the case may be. But so I flipped the script and said we did that because I was such a good leader that I learned that it was time to get out of the way. Right. So I'm still the one who created all the magic. But yeah, it was positive, and the trust part was hard. And now I purposely try to stay out of it. Throw something their way, give them the structure they need, and then see what happens.
One of the things that I always thought when I was younger, my late 20s, early 30s, was lead by example. As long as I led by example, everything would work out. If I'd made the most sales that month, everybody would say, "Oh, it can be done. I can go follow along." If I handled the most projects and it had the least amount of errors, and they could see, "Oh, it can be done," they're not going to make excuses for themselves. And so for me, all I had to do was lead by the front, and I was fine. Now that I've gotten older, I've realized how a decade plus that I have screwed up in leadership. And if I had done weekly meetings to train how to do it, and done weekly meetings on this is what I screwed up on, and this is how I fell in this trap. Here's how to do these things, and trained my tricks of the trade, other than what they just asked for. If anybody asked, I was an open door.
Yep.
But I didn't take the time to build, I'm going to say SOPs, standard operating procedures.
Yep.
I didn't take the time to build SOPs to give to the rest of my team. So they kind of had to fend for themselves on that. And I wish I had more SOPs on the front end, and then let them grow on the back end to their own version
of that.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's so you've got the we call them systems, but you've got those in place now.
I'm getting there.
You're getting there.
I'm getting there. It's changing rapidly.
Oh, they.
So by the time I write them down, some of them are obsolete already. So now I've jumped to verbal meetings.
Okay.
And I've gotten that verbally. Do I have it written down for a brand new person coming in? No, they're already outdated. They're pretty bad. But I at least have the verbals, and I have the weekly meetings to get the team jumping and leapfrogging to where they can be more successful with knowledge than just first of, "Oh, well, he did it, I better follow suit."
Yeah. Well, it makes me feel good that you don't have them fully written out yet, because I think we've turned into living documents because they're constantly changing. So Google Docs is great for that for us.
Mm-hmm.
Having those in place, though, even if it's just verbal, it helps with others to pick up, because they know the structure, they know the lanes and the guardrails, and so they're driving in the general direction that they need to go, and they can make adjustments as necessary.
And I think that would be probably, going back and forth on this, in the terms of letting go, if an owner stopped doing the day-to-day grind and started teaching what they learned and what they did, and stepping back and letting somebody else do the day-to-day grind, his company, or her company, might flourish a lot more than what it is right there to being stagnant.
Yeah. Well, the difference between a business owner and owning a job, right? Can you go to Cabo for a month?
Yeah.
Can you drink beers on the beach in Cabo for a month? Hope my wife doesn't listen to this, because she'll make me go now.
Yep.
But if you have to be there, you've got a kick-ass job, which is fantastic. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
But if you want to be a business owner, you have to have the business function without you being there.
Yes. And that's, my software company is way more there. I can disappear for my software company 2-3 weeks when it'll be there just fine, just cruising along, percolating along. Not much change, but it's still there and running. The sign company, I will say, I could never figure out a business model in such a way that it would work. And I think I didn't put a lot of time and effort in the business model because I love to sell so much. So I just took that pillar and said, "This is mine. I like to do this."
Yep.
And it was one thing that I learned somewhere that I don't disagree with this. I just kind of evolved. And that if you own a business, hire somebody else to do all the things you don't want to do.
Yep.
And only do the things you like to do. And that's what I did. I hired everybody else to build the signs, install the signs, deal with the accounting, do the estimating, do all that stuff. But I love to sell. And so I got to go do sales, and that's where I thrived.
Yeah.
And then at some point in time, I just did sales, and the rest of the company kind of stuck my head in the sand and went, "Oh, yeah, good for you guys. Keep it going." And I didn't train. I didn't promote. I didn't grow and said, "Hey, what equipment do you need to be better? What skill set can I bring to the table so you can be better?" I never asked those questions. I do for the software company, but I don't for the sign company.
Yeah.
And that's why when you said, "How's she doing? Is Jeannie going to do? And, how's that going?" I'm not going to lie. I'm excited what she will do.
Yeah.
Because she's learned that through me. We've talked about it. She has that knowledge. This knowledge hit me square in the face a couple of years ago. I didn't know this thought process existed, and for her, she get to see it, feel it, breathe it, and now trying to implement it.
That's cool. You know what else is really cool and slightly off topic, but your employees listen to this.
They do, all of them.
Right. And you're being incredibly transparent and saying, here's what I did, here's what I do well, here's what I didn't do well, as your leader, as the owner, as your boss, as the dude that effectively signs your paychecks.
Yeah.
Right. I think there needs to be more of that in business. We try to do the same thing with the practice. In fact, we're going through a bit of a remodel. As soon as we're done, you're going to hang our sign back up.
All right, deal.
And
Love it.
but I sat him down and just said, hey, look, I apologize because it's been a stressful, couple weeks. And I think that I owned a lot of that. It's construction, and construction's always going to be stressful, but I let my emotions boil over. I didn't give you the attention that I need. Our numbers reflected it a little bit. We didn't have our best month. And, but I think there needs to be more transparency of, hey, I need help here, or not doing the best in this area. I apologize. That's not an HR nightmare. That's being human and being honest.
It really is. It's just being human, being honest. That's one of the things that I go in waves. I'm really good at plugging in and saying, hey, what do you need? What's going on? What's happening? There's other times I just turn into a machine.
Yeah.
You just go for the sale, go for the profit. Where's the bottom line to that? And I'll pick my head up after. When I say back and forth, I'm talking months, not days or weeks. It's months of going one way and you go the other and you go, oh shit, I've been a machine. I need to change. I need to be more human. Let's see what's going on here. And I'll, pick my head out of the sand.
It's being self-aware. I'm very similar. In fact, used to have a little sign when I walked in the back door that says, go say hi to everybody. Because I get in, put my head down and start working. And in life in general, I part of my challenge is we talked about joy before, but enjoying the joy. Yeah. Not just, okay, got it. Now what's the next one?
Yes.
And sitting back and breathing and relaxing and just enjoying that joy.
It is one of the things that's very difficult. I don't need a lot to drive. Like the 5 love languages. Yeah. What is it? I always, the one that's mine is the one I forget, ironically. It's words of affection. Yeah. It's quality time. It's gifts.
Physical touch.
Physical touch is the 5th one. And that 4th one is acts of service.
Oh, yes.
Now, I'm one of the anomalies in this world. I give and receive the same way.
Okay.
Acts of service. So if somebody's having a bad day, I'll go to their, my fiance, we come home. The bed's not made. There's some laundry. I'll go do all that stuff so she doesn't have to, so she can rest when she gets home. That's my love language, acts of service.
Yeah.
Well, she receives in physical touch and then words of affirmation.
Okay.
So all she needs is a hug. But I don't freaking get that. So I'm sitting there doing the bed, the laundry, making dinner. Like you said, here's your drinks on the couch. You're fine.
Yeah.
I would love that if it were me. But for her, she just wants a hug. Yeah. And there'll be times where I'll wake up and understand there's times that I will completely screw up. And then she gets more crank. I'm like, what's wrong? I'm like, oh, the hug. Got it.
Gotta get a hug.
And that physical touch. But for me, I don't need any of the 5. Like I'm weird of that anomaly. You make the bed once for me in 2 months. I'm stoked, man. My love tank's filled. I'm done. Like I don't need that. And so I can be that machine day in and day out and day out. I can even eat the same meal day in and day out. It doesn't matter to me. It doesn't bother me. Yeah, I know I'm an anomaly, but I get that.
Well, knowing yourself is important, and then knowing how not to be yourself when
it's important to be yourself. Learn how to be different.
Is that's what 12 years of marriage has taught me. Is that sometimes you need to not be you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's it's kind of funny if you're listening and you're the older generation and the younger generation's coming up and they have good ideas and they're kicking butt most of the time. Let them run for a little bit. I'm not saying give them the title.
No,
I'm saying take a long vacation. Get out of the road for a little bit and see how much fires versus gold has shown up on the doorstep at the end of the day, or the end of the month or so. I would love to have more people, let go a little bit more and see what this next generation can give, what they can offer and go, because their minds are different. You definitely talked about that, but with their minds being different, it is freeing them to do some other things that we haven't thought of.
Oh yeah. They're super creative. I went on, cause I got super tired of these damn spoiled brats. And putting it mildly. But I said, well, I know how to fix this. And so I went and spent about 9 months just reading every book I can get my hand on.
Okay.
On Generation Z, just to understand. Doesn't mean I like what they do. Doesn't mean I like what they bring to the table always.
Yeah.
But the more you understand, the better. And it two things really hit on me. One was, I think I mentioned it before, where, my kids have never had to figure out what to watch because Netflix just told them. And so they're used to being told. So now when they come to work, they're used to me telling them what to do, which is really interesting because we own an optical, and, people are used to being told what to watch, told what to eat, told what to buy on Amazon, told everything. And they come in and I go, what do you want? Right. And so we got to change how we sell, because
Yes.
the old school selling isn't that way anymore.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, I grew up, being afraid of communists because you didn't want, in the government, don't give them your data. My kids don't care now. They want all their data out so that people can curate the experience exactly to them.
Yes.
It's a very different flip.
Yep.
So learning that's how they see the world was one. And then the second, when I was complaining to my now 19-year-old, he looked at me and said, Dad, when's the last time you hooked up a horse to your carriage? So what are you talking about? I've never hooked up a horse to your carriage. He goes, oh, so I'll bet your great-grandpa thought you were a pretty spoiled brat too, huh? I said, you little punk.
Touche, buddy. Touche.
Fair enough, buddy. I got your point. He's like, I really don't care how you grew up because this is how I grew up. And I think just recognizing those two, and I mean, look, Luke, the younger generation, they're outspoken. Some generations you can't get to speak.
Yeah, it's true.
I can't get these ones to shut up.
Yeah.
So how do we use that to our advantage? How do we use it to our advantage in business and life and whatnot? So just understanding the strengths and weaknesses.
I like it. I really like it. It's such a thing too. Is, the letting go, and you hit it. You caught the key word right at the beginning there. Fear. What's fear of it? And once you know it, you're not afraid of it anymore. There really is that much fear there, and you go, okay, this is not such a bad idea.
Oh, it's funny. Well, it's funny because it's, you're not afraid to get into a cold shower.
Nah.
But letting go of some decisions at the office.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I do believe one spills into the other. The more uncomfortable you are in one, the less afraid you are of another.
Oh, for sure. Getting comfortable with being uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And when you get there, it's freeing.
It really is. Yeah. It's a different thing because everyone's different. I read on Instagram like a couple of weeks ago, I started laughing. It said, get to the point where you can eat at a restaurant by yourself.
Oh, yeah.
And it's freeing. I've been able to do that since I've been 19. I could care less. I'm sitting there and have some food, enjoy for a second and walk on. So that's not uncomfortable to be. Huh. But doing a triathlon, that scared shit out of me.
Yeah.
So there's different levels. There's different pain points for each person. So don't think just because one's scary and one's not doesn't mean that you've hit the mark and you're good.
Oh, no. And everybody needs their difference. I mean, for some people, it might be drinking coffee from somewhere other than Starbucks. I say that half joking, but I get to travel quite a bit, and being in Japan, being in Asia, and people are looking for a Starbucks. Am I kidding me? Like, we're in a different world, and you want the same thing as home. I mean, you want that creature comfort, where I want to go someplace where I feel like I'm lost. And
so I've only been in Starbucks one time in my entire life.
Seriously?
So I don't drink coffee.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I don't drink. I'm wired this way 24/7. I popped out of the bed this way and just wired. So I can't drink sodas. If I do, they got to have alcohol in them to just kind of mellow them out, depress it with an upper. But I can't do any of that stuff. So I'm just water 24/7. And so I think it was like 3-4 years ago. Somebody's like, let's meet at Starbucks. It was a client, so I couldn't tell him no. So the guy goes, what do you want? I said, nothing. He goes, no, seriously, nothing. I'm like, I don't know. They sell water here? And he's like, have you never been to one? I said, no. So I walked in, talk about being on foreign soil.
Yeah.
I was walking around, people are rattling off words I've never heard before.
All different language. All different language.
And I walked in, I was like, yeah, that water, thank you very much. I walked outside, he's like, looks at me and I'm all, I don't drink coffee. He goes, well, good for you. I was like, yeah, I guess so. I don't know.
Wow.
But yeah, no. Yeah, you'd bring me to one of those places. I got no idea what I'm doing.
Okay, yeah. Well, it is a different language. The word large doesn't exist. It's
Okay.
3 other words for large. But,
okay, got it.
But that's funny.
Yeah, don't ever ask me to get you coffee.
Fair enough.
You have no idea what I'm going to bring back. Neither do I. It's going to be a guessing game for both of us.
That could be fun. That's hilarious.
Oh, well, thank you very much for staying back and then doing the second podcast with me. I really appreciate it because this was a good topic. You brought a lot of interesting points to it. But letting go is a fear that everybody has. And, as long as you notice that it's not that fearful, it's not that scary, it's probably going to be easier to make that next leap in your life.
Oh, for sure. And it's nothing, a couple of deep breaths and maybe a cold shower.
Not going to help.
Yeah.
Right on, man. Thank you for being here.
Of course.
Definitely check out his podcast. Thank you for listening to this one, and we'll see you guys next week.